Good morning, everybody, and a happy Monday morning to you. A big thank you to this person on Twitter for the thumbnail that you're looking at. Fabulous. There's a lot in here. We have a lot of royal family stuff and a lot of Harry Meghan stuff, and we're covering some controversy with medals and poppies and stuff, but that's going to be more towards the end, so you're going to want to make sure you watch the whole video today, okay? There's a lot. Let's just jump in and get busy. Let's go. We are going to start with Princess Beatrice this morning. She was just appointed the deputy patron of the Outward Bound Trust 6 years after her father stepped down as the patron after the big hoo-ha due to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew's replacement was also announced. That's going to be his brother, Prince Edward, and this all happened during the charities event at St. James Palace in London this past Thursday. The charity's mission is to inspire young people to realize their potential through learning and adventure in the wild. Well, I think both of them will be absolutely perfect in the roles. I'm glad Beatrice has got something going on. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us what Beatrice was wearing. Let's continue. Next up, we have the Duke of Gloucester. On October 28th, he went to the Merchants Taylor Hall in London. They were commemorating the reopening of the newly restored western entrance. The Duke was greeted and taken on a special tour of the facility. He always looks so fabulous. Also, on November 6th, he and his wife, the Duchess of Gloucester, were seen arriving at St. Paul's Cathedral for a concert and a reception. They happen to be patrons of Friends of St. Paul's Cathedral and St. Paul's Cathedral Christian Trust. Next up, Lady Louise turned 22. Now, I'm not going to show the 22 glorious photographs of her. We don't know exactly how she rang in her birthday. Her parents said they wanted to give her as normal a life as possible and keep her out of the spotlight. But I'm sure that she was probably with her boyfriend, Felix de Silva Clamp, who's been a regular alongside of her at royal events. Apparently, on the eve of her birthday, the family was reuniting at the Royal British Legion Festival of Remembrance at the Royal Albert Hall. We'll be covering that in our next video. Gorgeous girl. Now, next up, we have the Princess Royal Fabulous Anne, who is the patron of the Unicorn Preservation Society, and she attended a reception at the Royal Scots Club in Scotland on October 30th. This reception brought together supporters, funders, and heritage partners, and the aim of all of this is to restore and preserve the HMS Unicorn. That's the point. I think Princess Anne looks lovely. Now, moving on, from November 8th to November 11th, Princess Anne is visiting Australia, so she touched down with her fabulous husband, Sir Tim Lawrence. I have to tell you, Australia really takes their security big because she walked out of that airport flanked by 5 security guards before she was driven to her first engagement. Of course, she was walking with her fabulous husband as well. But, FYI, the last time she was in Australia was 2 years ago. Don't forget that she served as Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal Australian Corps of Signals since 1997, and her visit will celebrate a centenary since the formation of the Royal Australian Corps of Signals. Buckingham Palace has released some details of her tour, which officially began on Saturday, although the full itinerary has not yet been made public. Now, first off, they were driven to the Admiralty House. Let me remind you that this is the house. Meghan was upset because she thought they were going to get the whole house, and instead they were only given a wing. That is the Australian Governor General's official Sydney residence. Of course, they were greeted, they signed the register book, all of that stuff, but they also were given a welcome to the country with a smoking ceremony in honor of their visit. Now, on the same day that she arrived, Princess Anne was also seen reviewing the troops. Don't forget that she's going to be visiting multiple cities as well as celebrating Remembrance Day there in Australia. And I will be covering all of this as it comes. She will be visiting Sydney with multiple engagements, Canberra with multiple engagements as well, and Brisbane, Australia. All of these events are focusing on the centenary of the Signal of Core. And then after that, she's going to Singapore. Oh, she's busy. Next up, we have Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh. He joined Chief Petty Officer Peter Thornton and gave him the title of RFA Chef of the Year. He was there, Edward was, with the Royal Fleet Auxiliary sailors and veterans at their 120th birthday celebrations. Also, a photo came out of him attending the London Youth Awards, of which he is the patron. All right, next up, we have Princess Eugenie. She was spotted out in Notting Hill with her husband, Jack Brookbank. I don't know what people are expecting. Of course, she's going to be out and about. This is where she lives. But I think they looked up, saw the camera, put on a brave face, started smiling and joking and acting like, everything was just hunky-dory. That's just my personal opinion. But of course, she's going to be out and about. Where else would she be? Good for them getting out. Next up, Manfred Gold. He was a Holocaust survivor. He was deported with his mother and brother to a concentration camp where he survived forced labor before being liberated in 1945. His brother was killed, and he was liberated by the British Army in 1945. He was awarded by King Charles an MBE for his contribution to remembrance and teaching. He's passed away at the age of 95. He met William and Catherine in Poland. Wonderful man. They put up some fabulous tributes online to him. I hope he rests in peace because he's one of those people that absolutely deserves it. Moving on. Next up is Prince William. It was his last day in Brazil. Pictures were taken of him. He was seen on the balcony enjoying the view. So he packs up, he gets in his car, he's on his way to the next event, and the crowds were shouting, "William, William!" He had to stop the car, get out, and then that was it. It was Selfie City. These people were all over him. They loved him, and what's not to love? He has a schedule he has to keep, but no, he made a point of stopping the car so that he could take all the selfies with all the people and make them all happy to see him. I just think that's wonderful. So eventually he gets in the car and he pulls up to the next area. He's on his way to the Emilio Goeldi Museum in Belém, Brazil. Now, this took place on the 6th. And when he get out of his car, there's a little boy that yelled out, "William, I love you, William." So it's funny. And William goes running up to the kid. They reported that the little boy was dressed up to look like William. I don't see that. But anyway, he handed William a card and William was like, "Did you make this for me?" And they spoke for a minute. William gave the boy a hug and then he went walking off because he was meeting with the museum director and some indigenous people. He had to go. And as he's walking off, the boy is shouting to him and William turned around and gave him one more wave and then he walked on with his group. William met with the indigenous people, and he was told that the people in the Amazon rainforest are paying a very high price for their work as rainforest guardians. They face death threats. They get the death threats and face violence from organized crime gangs and large businesses threatening the environment through activities like mining and dam construction. They also explained that this is all happening as they're trying to protect the land, and they're seen as barriers to the economic growth, and that their communities also experience violence, drugs, and alcohol issues. Now, in response, William pledged to support to help them stop deforestation and stated that society must stand with those who defend nature, recognizing the immense value of the rainforest. Now, while he was there also, he was given some oil for Catherine. Now, I did not see Sir Keir Starmer get out of the car with William or show up in a lot of pictures, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's Sir Keir Starmer with him. So I don't know that they went there separately, in separate vehicles, that he was only there for half of it. I don't know where he came from, but suddenly there he was. You guys should know that these people William met are from the Next Generation program there in Belém. The museum they were at is the Amazon's oldest museum and a hub of science and culture since 1866. Now, moving on, we all know that while William was in Rio de Janeiro, he went to that famous statue, Christ the Redeemer, and he took a picture there, and people are saying that he recreated the picture with Diana. Well, let me tell you, word out is that Harry is really upset because, after all, he feels that Diana is with him now, has left William and is with him now, remember? And so he feels like he's the only one that can use Diana's memory. Well, let me tell you, as much as he co-opts the memory, I think this was very nice of William. But a big thank you to this Twitter user who made this because this was fabulous. Now, Harry, who's always trailing behind William and tried to upstage his brother with his trip to Canada, which I think was a complete flop, has now been accused of copying William because he posed for very similarly remarkable photos during his trip to Canada, which, by the way, almost nobody covered. It was a flop. And I think we all know why Harry went to Canada when he did, of course, to try to upstage William, but he's still pushing that half in, half out narrative. He's sending the message, I can do the work. Let me back in. This is a bad time, in my opinion, to be pushing William, my opinion. And Harry always says the stupidest things. He goes to Toronto, thanks for providing me a wife in Megan. She's not from Toronto. She's from LA. What the hell is he talking about? Like, what is this? It's so crazy. Now, what's being said is that the reason Megan went back to acting is because their marriage is literally on the rocks. It's not doing well at all. And that Megan has told Harry if he goes back to the UK, she's going to divorce him. Now, some articles are coming out going, do you think that this is the time that we might actually like Megan, that she might actually do something that makes us happy and want to hang out with her? I'm going to go with this Twitter user and say, no. That's absolutely a big fat no. If she couldn't act before, she won't be able to act now. Rumors out there that she was fired from that movie. That's not true. Now, it's being reported that William saw through Megan from the very beginning, which is why he warned Harry to take it slow with her. Don't rush into marriage. Go nice and slow. And everybody knows that Megan's thing about I'm going back to acting was meant to overshadow William, but it didn't, which I think speaks volumes. Now, articles have come out saying that Megan's problematic trait is causing them issues. And the thing about her trait is that it's all about control. She has to control everything. And I think Harry was okay with that in the beginning, but I don't think he is now. Now let's move on to the next story. This is very interesting. They're claiming that Meghan Markle knows that William is going to strip her of her title after he's crowned king. And she's panicked and defiant. And believe it or not, she wants to fight back with legal action. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. I mean, are you kidding me? It's true, the titles matter enormously because so much of Harry and Meghan's influence in the media, in business, in their charity work comes from being the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So without that title, the dynamic shifts completely and Meghan understands the stakes and she's saying that she's going to fight in court for it. Well, that'll be an interesting one. Now, this part I don't get. I thought Netflix was her partner. Her stuff isn't selling out. It's just sitting there. So she set up a shop in her friend's bookstore. I showed you the video the other day. I mean, I still haven't been able to figure out who's her target audience. What is that about? I don't get it. All right, let's talk about something else that happened. This I don't believe. We knew that when Meghan was on that set and she put her arm out, there had to be a reason behind it. Well, that's because she appears to be wearing a watch from a collection, a different collection. It's worth $180,000. Unbelievable. It was apparently given to Diana as a gift while she was dating Mohammed Al Fayed, and Dodi was his name. And now the reporting is that that watch was given to Meghan and she's showing it. I don't believe that for a second. I think she went and bought her own, but I think she bought one that matches Diana. All right, let's move on to this next story. I thought this was interesting. Wendell Pierce Well, he used to work with Meghan on Suits. So what happened was Angela Levin said something on X, and Wendell Pierce shot back and basically said, "You're a gossip monger and you're a shameless hack and you're this and you're that." And I think he played her father on the show. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what his act was. He said, taking up for her, and he says, "You have no idea what you're talking about," and blah, blah, blah. Well, I wouldn't listen to this guy because this is a man. I don't care how long ago it happened. He was arrested in Atlanta, Georgia for beating up a woman. What man of his size puts his hands on a female? That right there shows me he's of the same caliber as Meghan. I also believe he spoke out because he's not in touch with Meghan anymore. And whenever people like this speak out, it's because they want them to get into touch. He would like Meghan to contact him. It's not going to work. Now, this next story is very interesting. Remember, Harry and Meghan were invited to the LA Dodgers game, remember? And they did this whole thing. It was Hatgate. Well, come to find out that they were invited. They were a VIP of the baseball team's co-owner, Mark Walter, who's chairman of the new World Series champions. However, he's facing protests due to links to ICE and ongoing immigration raids and deportations across Los Angeles. So, of course, Harry and Meghan just grabbed the seats because they were free. I believe with this blind item, if they would just, stop getting on their knees for free stuff. Meghan, she'll take anything that's free. So basically, this was Harry's stance. All right, let's move on. An article came out basically that Harry is very homesick. And so his friends have gotten together and they decided to make a pact that they would reach out to him as needed because, they're worried about his mental health. All right, now finally, Harry, when he was in Canada, he was seen getting out of the car and walking in. There were no crowds there, by the way. There was just a little fence with some paparazzi there with, cameras. It's like what happened in the UK. Remember, there were a few photographers, but nobody big there. That's exactly what happened here. But here's the point. When he got out of the car and he walked up, people were looking at his medals because he now, instead of 4 medals, he has 5. Well, it didn't take long to figure out what those medals were. Only one was for Afghanistan. The rest were the same medals given to everybody else in the UK for the Queen's Platinum, Diamond, and Golden Jubilee. And the 5th one now is his father's coronation medal. Now notice Harry is wearing his poppy, and that's going to lead into this next story. There was a 100-year-old British veteran who went on live TV, and they were interviewing him, and what he said literally broke my heart. Listen to this.
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel. And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for. You absolutely fought for.
That is it.
And we will do. We want to...
I'm so wonderful to know there are people like you that can spread the word around.
We will do.
Younger generation.
And I guarantee that everybody watching at home will be wanting you to send lots of love. We've got another little bit special thing for you, Alec. We've got the D-Day darlings here. Come on over, guys. You've got a little special present for him. Ooh. Come and give it if you can, to thank you for all your many brave years of service and others like you.
This is our album, Alec, and I know you love a lot of the songs on there. And this is the least we can do. This is such a small thing, but, we love you so much, Alec.
And it's all signed for you there as well.
These young ladies are like my own daughters.
If that didn't break your heart, there's something wrong with you. All right, guys, now I'm moving into the tributes for Poppy Day. Some people were so talented. Yeah, here you go. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Put those comments down, hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my second channel, a link to my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, and a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.